It's time for Positively Kansas. Coming up, Wichita's iconic Keeper of the Plains gets a makeover many times over. It's a fun and colorful way to celebrate the city's 150th birthday. Find out who's behind this and why it's creating so much excitement. Plus, Kansas agriculture is celebrated in the timeless art on display in Marion County. And it's art with a fascinating backstory by two local sisters who achieved national acclaim. And in our Kansas Wild Edge report, Blair shows us why fall is a great time for fly fishing. I'm Sierra Scott. That's all coming up in this edition of Positively Kansas.
Positively Kansas is brought to you in part by...
Before investing your hard-earned money, make sure your financial advisor understands your objectives. Mark Douglas, CFP, serving our community for over 20 years, providing customized financial solutions that focus on the individual.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas serves more than 930,000 Kansans in various programs. Independent, member-owned. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association, supports KPTS.
Program support provided by the F. Price Kosman Memorial Trust, Entrust Bank Trustee, bringing you the Kansas Wild Edge segments on Positively Kansas.
It's public art that's Wichita through and through. You won't see it anywhere else. 13 Keeper of the Plains statues gifted to the city of Wichita for its 150th birthday are now proudly displayed around the city. As Chris Frank shows us, you can take a tour with family and friends to check them all out.
It's a beautiful fall Saturday morning when the Wichita A's Model A Ford Club goes on tour in search of the Keeper 150s in the parks. 20 Model A Fords on parade with 39 club members first check out the Keeper in Wichita's newest city park in northwest Wichita. This is Proct Wetlands Park on 29th Street North, just east of Mays Road. This park is so new, most Wichitans don't know anything about it. It's new to many of these visitors as well.
I didn't know the park was here, so...
2019 is what it said on the sidewalk, so...
It's gorgeous.
What Jane McLaughlin is impressed with is the Keeper of Proct Wetlands. This keeper, painted by artist Delilah Reed, is well positioned to welcome everyone entering the wetlands.
But that is gorgeous, and that would be a difficult thing to use.
To paint?
Yes.
We watched artist Reed in her Old Town apartment painting the Keeper. Reed made a point of researching the wildlife living or visiting this wetland and then representing them on the Keeper with her brushes.
And whenever I saw that I was placed at Proct Wetlands, I was extremely excited, just because I've been out there a few times and I've just really liked it a lot.
I like him. I mean, I think it's fabulous.
We've only seen this one, so I'm looking forward to seeing the rest.
The group moves on to Buffalo Park on South Mays Road to visit the next Keeper 150 on their tour list. This Keeper was painted by Josh Jonico. Jonico says he painted it in a graffiti style. There are a lot of details to be seen in this Keeper. Jonico is happy knowing it's in Buffalo Park.
I love the fact it's going to be there. I think it's cool. I'm sure some people like it, and there might be some that don't, but I don't know. You gotta do it.
Mike James says he's visited the Keeper on 2 other occasions, but never noticed the painted buffalo head on it.
But somebody else walked right up to it and saw the buffalo head. And every time we've been here, we miss that.
That's another reason to check out the Keepers with a keen eye to search for all the details the artist included on them.
And I want you to do the Keeper pose so I can get your picture by the Keeper.
The community group Together Wichita purchased and paid the artists $1,000 each to paint these Keepers. The group gifted the keepers to the city of Wichita as a 150th birthday present.
Because the keeper is a symbol that everyone in Wichita knows, and I think everyone in Wichita appreciates, and everyone in Wichita, there's no downside to it. It's an enormous piece in real life done by a famous Wichita Native American artist. So it has that legacy of Native American. It has the legacy of our city. It's very hopeful in its pose.
Together, Wichita asked each of the 6 city council members to select 2 parks in their districts for keeper placements. The mayor selected the Advanced Learning Library for the 13th keeper.
The fact that we can celebrate something like the keeper throughout the community and, through the help of Together Wichita and its partners like the Chamber, now you're able to see them all around the city, I think has helped and has contributed a lot to the growth and pride in Wichita.
The keepers were completed in time for Wichita's 150th birthday, July 21st, 2020. The pandemic, however, prevented a large public event with all the keepers on display for a large viewing in one spot. But since the keepers are now in their respective locations, visitors are taking notice. The Parks Department selected where in the parks the keepers would be placed. Parks workers started installing them in late August. This keeper, painted by Coral Donnelly, went up in Eastview Park. It's called Keeper of the Dawn. Tyler Breeze with the Wichita Parks Department oversees the work.
They're going pretty good, a lot quicker than we intended on them.
You can see it as you drive around the park.
Daryl Carrington lives in the Fairmount neighborhood just south and bordering the Wichita State campus. He made a point of coming out to see the Fairmount Park Keeper right after park employees got it in place.
But it is just perfect. And it's got the chakra colors.
Artist Ella Monique Bacchus combined WSU colors with irises and flags. You'll find 150 international flags on this keeper's headdress, representing all the different nations of current and former Wichita State students. The Kansas flag and the state motto are also represented here. Keeper artists were asked to have the number 150 on their keeper, or instead have 150 items representing the city's 150th birthday. Carrington says this design also represents what Carrington says is perhaps the most diverse neighborhood in Wichita.
So that's why you have flags from all over the world there to represent all the students and others that come through this park and this community.
The irises represent those cultivated by noted WSU professor Hugo Wall, whose name is on the School of Public Affairs. Wall cultivated and crossbred irises in hopes of growing the elusive red iris, hence the prominent red iris on this keeper.
The red iris doesn't occur naturally. It's something that you have to cultivate, and it's something rare and beautiful, and that reflects the beautiful combination of people in that community.
Next stop for the Model A Club is the Keeper of the Orchard in West Wichita's Orchard Park. Artist Lindsay Kernodle researched the apple orchards that once filled the many acres roughly between where Interstate 235 is now and West Street, between 13th Street on the north and Maple on the south.
It was one of the biggest orchard areas in the whole prairie area.
This one is very colorful and bigger. Beautiful. Awesome. I didn't even know these existed around town. Yeah. Except for the big guy.
Well, of course, this is the big guy she refers to, the Keeper of the Plains, designed by Native American artist Black Bear Boson, has stood at the river's confluence since 1974. It's the inspiration for the smaller keepers.
The keeper is definitely our most recognizable icon, I think. Everyone relates to it. The placement of it is just beautiful in that river sitting.
Now, about finding all these keepers, well, you can get the addresses to all the parks and use a paper map to navigate to these keepers, or you can use a modern smartphone application. The travel app, called Easy Travel, as its name implies, makes finding the keepers easy. Just go to the App Store on your phone and download IZI.travel.
It's IZI.travel. It's free to download, and once you download that, you'll be able to see where each of the keepers are located.
And then you can use the travel app to get directions to such keepers as the Keeper of Transportation, painted by Heather Byers in Osage Park in South Wichita.
I want it to be something that people will notice and that they'll feel like it helps to make their space better.
But these keeper placements haven't been without their own problems. Together Wichita says the statues are meant for celebration and to bring joy to the viewers. But there are those who seem bent on destruction, who won't even just let their own neighborhoods enjoy something new.
One has been tagged with graffiti.
However, the Keeper of Plainview was torn away from its base and went missing a few days before being found in a nearby creek.
So it's just frustrating that something that's supposed to bring unity and is supposed to, be a good thing in a year that hasn't really been great, that someone would think it was a good idea to destroy it. It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around.
Brungart says the destruction to the Keeper of Plainview is not reflective of how the community feels as a whole about these keepers. The vandalism is a particular blow to the artists involved.
Who I feel the worst for is the artists who put in so much time and effort into the project. I'm sad for our partners who funded the statues, and we are very proud of this project.
Teresa Zardoz spent weeks turning what was a blank fiberglass canvas, so to speak, into a piece of art.
Well, it's a little muddy.
Yep. This is her first chance to examine the Plainview Keeper after the vandalism.
It seems like they try to cut it in different areas. Like there's a slot right here, and then I think there's some up by the hands.
Zardoz says she would paint a new keeper if she were asked to.
I'd be happy to. I had a lot of fun doing the first one.
And Brungart says Zardoz will be commissioned to paint a replacement keeper. The details are being worked out. Brungart says the replacement statue will likely be placed near Jardine Middle School, where it is believed it will be more secure. Zardoz says it's very unfortunate the Plainview community has to suffer because of this destructive act. The Model A Car Club couldn't get to all of the keepers on their tour, and we dare not leave any out. The keeper at the Dr. Glenn Day Park in north central Wichita is titled Together We Shine Brighter. Artist Hallie Lineber focused on the themes of community, family, connection, and friends after hearing from residents there. The Keeper of Loyalty is at the West Douglas Park. Artist Baxter Suber took a different approach than the other keeper artist in his painting. He used spray paint rather than brushes as his application medium.
I like the spray paint because it covers so quickly and it gives you different shades from time to time when you don't even want it to, but they tend to work in your favor.
The mother and daughter combination of Chiyoko Miyose and Sarah Miyose painted the colorful keeper placed in Clapp Memorial Park. This park is undergoing transformation from its longtime use as a golf course. The keeper is placed near the Harry and Oliver intersection on a walking path. It's named City Bird Keeper.
I like that it has the white doves, it's very peaceful, and then the weed stalks. I like it that it's just in one of our neighborhoods instead of downtown, to see them around.
Two of the Keeper 150s aren't located in city parks. The Stryker Sports Complex is the location for a keeper in Wichita's District 1. Artist Angie Evans, knowing that this keeper would be centered around sports competition, took the Wichita Strong theme, encouraging competitors, painting the phrase, "Don't give up." There are 150 stars on the named Stryker Keeper, representing Wichita's 150th birthday.
I think they're beautiful.
Wichitan Pat Schrader had company visiting for the weekend, her daughter and daughter's friend. She decided it would be a fun activity to find and visit the new Keeper 150s.
And we said, let's go find them. So last night we went and found 5, and this morning we're finding the rest.
They compare the designs on the keepers with their surroundings.
Well, obviously we see the bridge that's over the river, and I like the red, white, and blue.
But they can't linger too long. They've got other keepers to look for.
And we've had so much fun finding all these. Some of them are more difficult to find than others.
Well, this one isn't too hard to find. This is the Keeper of a Brighter Future, placed at the west entrance of the Advanced Learning Library downtown. It's also called the Mayor's Keeper and the second keeper not in a city park.
This one might be my favorite one of the ones we've seen so far anyway. Very pretty.
Those who have the attitude there aren't enough things to do in Wichita might take a note from Pat Schrader.
There's always something to do in Wichita. There's always lots of fun things. People just have to be a little imaginative.
So, you may want to add visiting the Keeper 150s in the parks to your to-do list.
Well, we're going out to find the rest of them.
And we can go out and find them also. Reporting from the parks of Wichita, this is Chris Frank for Positively Kansas.
If you haven't seen the Keeper 150 documentary yet, you can watch it anytime on kpts.org. In the heart of Kansas, you'll find this hidden treasure, an 8-building, open-air folk museum located in the small town of Gosel. It's home to a cache of Mennonite and agricultural history, as well as a unique piece of art that you'll only find in the Wheat State. Anna Spencer has the story.
Mennonite Heritage and Agricultural Museum Director Fern Bartell flips through a catalog of treasures, photos of unique pieces of history and art that tell the tale of her ancestors and their migration from modern-day Ukraine to central Kansas. Featured in the book, twin sisters Marie and Martha Voth, prominent wheat marquetry artists whose creative and one-of-a-kind work is featured throughout the museum. Related to wheat weaving, wheat marquetry is an art form featuring bits of partial and whole wheat straw. The sisters are known throughout the area for their wheat applique pictures of historical buildings, nature scenes, farms, homes, and custom pieces.
In this area, they're well known, but their works extend probably even worldwide. They just were so generous with their talent and their ability. They did courthouses, they did the Union Station, they did one there for that facility, they did for the Sealy Mansion, they have one there. It's all through this area.
The Voth twins, who both worked as nurses in North Newton, have been doing wheat art for about 25 years. Although Marie passed away a few years ago, the sisters are icons in straw art circles and beloved throughout central Kansas. Bartell notes it was their attention to detail and their great art perspective that always stops museum goers in their tracks.
They get up close, they they just get down on their knees to look at the works of art. They were just so precise, and they just had such a grasp of perspective. And their earlier works, you can sort of tell the earlier works did not have color in them. Then as they progressed in their ability, the buildings got more detailed, they got more color in them. They just had an amazing talent for that.
While the sisters were commissioned for several local and historic sites, they were also integral to one of the most well-known pieces in the wheat art world, the 1976 United States Bicentennial Wheat Bell. This larger-than-life piece of artwork is a replica of the Liberty Bell, made out of turkey red wheat straw, the same wheat brought to Kansas by the Mennonites in 1874. The bell was a community effort involving almost 200 volunteers and 2,000 man-hours. The banner features a handmade seed inscription, designed and assembled by the Voth sisters. Following a 2-year display at the Smithsonian, the wheat bell is home in Gosel and still draws a lot of attention.
Oh, it's so much bigger than they thought it would be. So it's really a tremendous amount of work that went into the bell. It's something that we like to have people see because Kansas is the wheat state.
Part of several roadside attraction books and websites, the Wheat Bell brings in visitors from across the country who marvel not only at the size of the bell, but the beauty of Kansas wheat art, an art form that captures both culture and creativity, perfected by twin sisters from the wheat state itself. In Gossel, I'm Anna Spencer for Positively Kansas.
The Sisters Wheat marquetry pieces remain on display at the Mennonite Heritage and Agricultural Museum. The museum offers seasonal art displays and a special show of wood carvings for 2021. When the cool weather sets in, Mike Blair says it's a great time to catch fish in Kansas. Fish are active and eager to fatten up before the dead of winter hits. In this week's Kansas Wild Edge Report, Mike takes us fly fishing at Milford Reservoir near Junction City.
Go fishing, Mike B.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
You'd better be ready when you're float tube fly fishing for wipers at Kansas Milford Reservoir. This is a fall hotspot for white bass, striped bass, hybrids, and boating anglers with spinning gear take full advantage. But if you want to ride, get into the water and try a two-handed battle on these hard-fighting game fish. This isn't traditional fly fishing. Big reservoirs aren't normally suited for float tubes, where windy conditions and boat traffic can make things dangerous. But finding a cove that offers wind protection and quiet, shallow water can yield unforgettable fly rod action. Mike Grunwald of Lincoln, Nebraska fly fishes for fall wipers at Milford. He makes it even more challenging by using a 6-weight rod rather than the 8 or 9 weights usually recommended. He uses a 10-pound tippet to avoid breaking off on the hard slashing fights in open water, and he arms his fly reel with 200 yards of strong backing. The fall Milford feeding spree depends on 4-inch gizzard shad, plentiful each year in the lake. Catfishers and game fishers alike use live bait or lures or flies that look like young shad. Grunwald uses Clouser minnows or lefty deceivers flies tied on size 4 or larger hooks. While float tubing at Milford, he looks for windy breaks where 2 to 4 feet of water near shore drops sharply into deeper areas. If he can find a small inflow where current carries food, it can mean good wiper fishing throughout the day. And surprisingly, he often catches large channel cats that hunt shad in these currents as well. What to expect? A shocking strike followed by runs up to 50 yards or more. Wipers surge, surface, thrash, and surge again. A landing net is essential in catching wipers and large catfish that take a fly. Fights often last 10 minutes or longer. This is Midwestern big game fishing at its best. Gear up, choose your reservoir access wisely, and experience firsthand the excitement of fall wiper fishing at Milford Reservoir. On a fly rod, it's nothing short of crazy. I'm Mike Blair for Positively Kansas.
From fauna to flora, and a Kansas woman who turned her hobby into a business that brings beauty into the lives of Kansans.
We came up with the name Mockingbird Flower Farm because the mockingbird would sit in the tree and sing to us in the spring when it was time to start planting. We moved the house out here on 5 acres near Anthony, Kansas. I just always felt like that a bouquet of flowers was something I could do and provide for the care homes and local restaurants. And then my hobby became a little extreme. And after semi-retiring from education, I was like, can't we, if this little flower garden is doing well on this side of the house, can't I expand to the other side? Now we deliver buckets of flowers all over. I have a couple local florists that enjoy my buckets of flowers. Local restaurants, I also deliver to Wichita to a couple restaurants. Watermark Books and Tanya's Soup Kitchen. And I'm kind of picky about who gets my buckets of my girls. And we've been known to go to the Bluegrass Festival in Winfield, and they've been really kind. And we enjoy farmers markets as well. And we also encourage the local schools to bring out groups for educational purposes. Every year is definitely different. And we've had a lot of rain. And usually by now in August, I'm usually struggling with the water, and my grass and everything is dry. And you can tell that the sunflowers are towering, and I'm definitely not having to water as much. There are several other flower farms in Kansas, but I think most of those are up by Lawrence, so I think I'm kind of unique. I've had groups of up to 25 come out for either a nature walk, or we do some birding here as well on the farm, or they can just cut a bucket of flowers and enjoy time here in the garden. Mockingbird Flower Farm on Facebook.
Well, that's all for this show. Email your story ideas to positivelykansas@kpts.org. We always need them. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Sierra Scott. Arrivederci.
Program support provided by the F. Price Kosman Memorial Trust, Entrust Bank trustee, bringing you the Kansas Wild Edge segments on Positively Kansas.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas serves more than 930,000 Kansans in various programs. Independent, member-owned. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association, supports KPTS.
Before investing your hard-earned money, make sure your financial advisor understands your objectives. Mark Douglas, CFP, serving our community for over 20 years, providing customized financial solutions that focus on the individual.